potentially faced years in prison if convicted, but his attorney got the charges dropped. Now they both want to see these officers brought to justice.
So what gives them the power just because they got a badge to think they can do whatever they want? Who's governing them? I want reprimand. I want officers put in jail. I want them to experience what I experienced.
In May of 2023, 3 Elyria police officers stormed the home of Raul Ortiz. Senior Officer Paige Mitchell tased, arrested, and charged Ortiz with 5 felonies. But those charges were later dismissed.
This video is about power abuse, rights violated, and the consequences of unchecked authority. It began when 3 police officers, without a warrant, without probable cause, and without legal justification, forced their way into a man's home. They had no lawful reason to be there. Yet, when the occupant rightfully objected to the illegal, or I should say illegal entry, they responded not with restraint or professionalism, but with force. Among them was Officer Paige Mitchell, a 10-year veteran of the police force and the head of the police union, someone who should have exemplified integrity and leadership. Instead, she participated in the unlawful arrest, an act so egregious that internal investigations recommended her termination. Today, she stands on the Brady list, a formal acknowledgement that she cannot be trusted to tell the truth in a court of law. Her credibility is destroyed, her testimony forever tainted. This case is not just about one man's wrongful arrest. It's about accountability. It's about ensuring that those who wield a badge and a gun do not trample the very laws that they are sworn to uphold. The evidence will show that these officers acted outside the law, and now justice demands that they be held responsible for their actions.
Controversial arrest caught on camera. Police barge into a man's home without his permission and without a warrant.
Tonight, that man is telling us what it was like to live through such a chaotic ordeal. 19 investigator Mike Mason has this exclusive report.
When Mitchell was asked why she didn't stop Ortiz's ex-girlfriend from kicking in the door, Mitchell claimed she was distracted because she was having a conversation with the ex's friend. But on Mitchell's body cam footage, it's clear she's the one who told the ex to enter the home.
You've lived here, so if you want to kick the door in and go and get your stuff, you're more than welcome to. Put your hands behind your back right now! Right now! Stop touching me!
Raul Ortiz says he'll never be the same after 3 Elyria police officers stormed into his home.
One minute I'm happy, next minute I'm sad, next minute I'm crying. I hear a loud noise, I get freaked out.
19 Investigates obtained body cam video from May 11th of last year. That's when 3 officers met with Ortiz's ex-girlfriend, Brittany Warner. She told them she had broken up with Ortiz and he wouldn't let her back into the home.
I just want my things and I want to get out.
Officers arrive at the home, but Ortiz refuses to let them in without a warrant.
So all I did was say, hey, I don't choose to talk to you then. If I'm not in trouble with you and you ain't got a warrant for me, then I ain't got nothing to say. I'm not being involved.
Officer Paige Mitchell is then heard telling Warner she has the right to break in.
Any door can be kicked in depending on how hard you work on it.
So Warner kicks the door in as officers go in behind her.
She was very aggressive.
Ortiz is heard struggling with the 2 officers. A window shatters. In the reports, police wrote Raul's body slammed into Officer Lewis, nearly causing him to fall out. However, Ortiz remembers it differently.
I actually grabbed the cop trying to pull him back, letting him know that I'm not trying to fight you guys, but I'm not going to put my hands behind my back because I have a medical condition.
Mitchell then walks up the stairs and tases Ortiz.
Put your hands behind your back right now! Right now!
Stop touching me! I will!
He grabs Mitchell's taser, then drops it. He's then hauled off to jail.
Mom, please help me! I didn't know.
Charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated robbery for grabbing Mitchell's taser.
Were you planning to use it on the officers?
My defibrillator's right here. No, absolutely not. I would never do something like that because I know I would never win.
They didn't do a proper investigation. Period.
Ortiz's attorney, Anthony Nisi, worked as a cop for decades. He says officers had no right even entering the house. Plus, if they had contacted the homeowner, he would have told them Warner had already moved out.
That day, yes, she handed us the keys and she left.
And she was out of the apartment.
Out of the house, yes.
Nisi also questions officers' claims that Ortiz could be heard threatening them when they entered the home.
If you listen to the video very closely, it's different from what the report says.
Why would I want to say something like that knowing there's cops downstairs? That's the stupidest thing a person could do.
Ortiz potentially faced years in prison if convicted, but his attorney got the charges dropped. Now they both want to see these officers brought to justice.
So what gives them the power just because they got a badge to think they can do whatever they want? Who's governing them? I want reprimand. I want officers put in jail. I want them to experience what I experienced.
You should know the officers involved were not charged with a crime or even disciplined for this incident. According to the EPD, the body cam footage we showed you is the only one they have because the other two officers' videos weren't saved due to an oversight. Nisi now plans to file a federal lawsuit against the department. Mike Mason, 19 News.
Yeah, the reason the police chief found there was no wrongdoing is because he was covering things up. He took the thin blue line to a level that it shouldn't be. If you do your job correctly, you should be supported. If you do your job incorrectly, but yet you thought you were doing your job correctly, you should be supported. When you clearly violate people's rights, there's no supporting from the police department. There's no supporting from the police chief. You deserve the consequences that await you. This police officer, Paige Mitchell, obviously is problematic, as well as the police department. There was an incident in 2020 where two officers were trying to subdue an individual, and she came on the scene and used her taser. Once again, in this case, she was found not liable under her qualified immunity for her actions because she was assuming that the actions of the police officers were legitimate. So she was following suit, not realizing that they weren't. However, I think we all know that she probably knew that the police officers that were involved didn't know what they were doing or were abusing their powers, and she joined right in. This case, however, actually is her actions caught up with her on this case, and she is forever tainted. She's likely going to get fired. It's just a matter of time.